Hey YouTube friends. Alright, I got 2 more epiphany ideas about comedy videos to make. One of them will be about all the different boyfriends I've had and experiences I've had, and then my other one will be about all the jobs I've had. I am 35 years old. I have had about 20 different boyfriends in my life, and I've had about 30 jobs, which, okay, maybe that's an exaggeration, but I've had a lot of jobs, so I'll go through almost every single one and talk about it and what I learned and why I left, why I didn't stay at those jobs. And you might be wondering, why on earth did you have 20 boyfriends and 30 jobs? And all I can say is I've been searching for perfection, okay? I mean, I think everybody wants to find, the perfect mate and the perfect job. But I'm finally realizing that there ain't anybody that's perfect out there. And sometimes you just have to settle. In some ways, you're never going to find the perfect setup at work or, the perfectly nice or perfectly handsome person to be with. So sometimes you just got to, I don't know, sometimes you just got to be okay with something that isn't perfect. All right, so this one will be about my 20 boyfriends. So let's see. Let's take it way back here. The first time I kissed a boy, I was in 4th grade, so I was 9 years old, and I remember he had blonde hair and blue eyes, and I had my friends help me on the playground. This was a summer camp I was at, and we all, held him down so I could kiss him, and that's about it. I don't remember anything else about him, but I do remember that, and that I was proud of myself that I had the boldness to do that. There was this other boy I liked. I think that was before that, a year before. I must have been in 3rd grade. This boy named Tim. I gave him a box of chocolates on Valentine's Day. And I was real proud of myself for doing that. Alright, let's see. Then, I just had some crushes, just minor things. I guess I had this boyfriend named Greg when I was, Greg Forrell, when I was in 5th grade. And he initiated that. He sat in front of me in class, and he would always turn around and be like, "What you doing?" And I'd be like, "Nothing." And he'd be like, "Why?" And then I think he asked me to be his girlfriend, and I hung out at his house a couple times, but we didn't kiss or anything. But yeah, so that's when I was in 5th grade. And then, let's see, the summer after 7th grade, I was 13. I don't know, it was almost like my mom was non-existent that summer, but she let me go hang out with my friend a lot. And she lived in this trailer park in Nebraska. And I certainly had a lot of fun that summer. But that was my first boyfriend. And he was 17. I think he was one of my brother's friends. I had an older brother who was 17. I was 13. He was one of his friends, I think. And anyways, he was my first, serious boyfriend. We didn't go all the way, but I'll just say we came close. And even if this video doesn't make you laugh, you'll certainly learn some things about, your daughters, or maybe you'll think back on your childhood and how stupid you were at different times. But for real, if you got daughters, just be cognizant that when they are 13, they are already thinking about having a boyfriend, and that it's a possibility. Okay, if you don't keep a close eye on those girls, you just never know what might happen. Anyways, me and him had I don't know, I'd say really it was only a month or so that we were a couple. And then he broke up with me because he said I was too young, which now, today, when I was thinking about it, I was like, well, duh, because when he turned 18, it would have been illegal for him to be with me. So it makes sense that he dumped me. But I was real sad about that for a while. Anyways, so that was my first, kind of serious boyfriend. And so I was 13. But then I didn't have another boyfriend for quite a while, really. I think my next one, well, let's see, when I was a sophomore in high school, I had the senior ask me to the prom. But we didn't really date, we just went to the prom. But I felt real honored that he asked me. And then I had this friend when I was 16, and we were just friends for a while. He was a friend from church, and we played basketball. And then all of a sudden, he hit on me, he came up and kissed me, and I was laughing, and I was like, "How long did you want to do that?" So we became a couple, but that only lasted about 2 months because I really just saw him as a friend. Anyways, and then the guy I went to prom with when I was a sophomore, we dated again a year after that when I was a senior in high school. And that was fun. And I asked him to my prom, but it was a real short relationship, only about 2 months, because he really wasn't Christian, and I never should have really dated him to begin with because, the Bible says don't be unequally yoked, so I knew that it wouldn't work out, but he was cute, so, I hung out with him a lot for 2 months. And then, about a year later, I dated a coworker, but he also wasn't Christian, so I knew that it wasn't going to work out from the beginning. And that lasted about 2 months. And then I decided to take a long break. And I did not date anyone for 4 years when I was in college. And, but then after that, I moved back home when I was 22. And my mama let my stepbrother move in. And he was 28 and I was 22. And that little sucker, he wore me down over the course of a few months. And I ended up losing my virginity to him. And I remember he bragged about deflowering so many virgins that he had been with like 10 or 20 virgins. And, he was like a master manipulator. Anyways, that was a real sad time in my life because I was planning on saving that for marriage, but that didn't happen. I told my mom what had been happening. We had been sneaking around. They didn't know about it, but I told her. So they had him move out, and that was good because he was kind of a bad boy. So then a year later, I thought I would try online dating because I was tired of not meeting Christian guys. So I met this one Christian guy. I don't think he was really all that Christian, but he thought he was. He thought he was Pentecostal. His name was Michael. We only lasted about 2 months. And then, about a year later, I moved in with my brother, and I met this guy who was real smart and real sweet. He was older than me. I was 25, he was 32. His name was Roger. We had a long relationship for 2 years, but then he died. This video really isn't that funny, except for my voice. With my accent like this. But anyways, we were together for 2 years, and he was still married to his ex-wife because she hated him and she wouldn't cooperate in divorcing him. So that made it real difficult. So me and him never got legally married, but we lived together for 2 years, which I never thought I would do since I was Christian. But I was just happy to be with a Christian, and he was very Christian, and I was so thankful for that. And I think I helped him become more Christian because he kind of had an alcoholic problem when I met him and for the first year of our relationship, but then he quit alcohol the second year until the night he died. He went out drinking with a coworker, and he died that night. And the reason was he was on methadone and Klonopin for anxiety, and he was taking Cialis for blood circulation, and he was taking testosterone shots because he felt like his testosterone low. And that day he had taken an antibiotic because he was sneezing a lot from work because they were doing some construction in the prison he worked in. There was dust everywhere, and he sneezed 20 times that morning. So he went to go get antibiotics. So I don't know if that had something to do with that. Maybe the dust clogged up his lungs or something, and that's why he died. I really don't know. But I mean, in the autopsy they said it was just a mixture of the alcohol with the medications, So that really put a fear in me of alcohol for a while. And it made me angry at medications for sure because I feel like that's why he died, So from there, I went to live with my mom so I could deal with the grieving process, and that really helped a lot. And then I thought I would start chatting with some guys, which, I mean, I didn't mean to move on that fast, but it was I just needed someone to talk to about, grieving and all that. I had my best friend Ashley, and I had my mom, but besides that, I did meet up with some old friends from high school, but, most of my friends had their own lives. So anyways, so I got on, I think it was plentyfish.com, and I was chatting with some people. And then I had this crazy idea that I wanted to go to Australia which I was able to do a couple months later because that boyfriend who had died, he had put me on his life insurance, and so I got a check in the mail for $20,000, and I used that to go to Australia, which really helped me to, not be so depressed. So I hung out there with this other boy. His name was Tim. He was kind of a boyfriend for 2 months, or he was more like a friend, but anyways, that was fun. And I'm already at 10 minutes, so I'm not going to say the whole rest of my story, but basically after Tim in Australia, then I met my ex-husband in Kansas City, and we got married like 2 weeks after we met. We met online, and we were married for 7 years. And then after he left, I tried some more online dating on Zeus.com. And I met up with some guys, and those were all very short-lived. Then I decided to rent out some rooms, so I did that in my house, and I met this real great guy named Brian, and we were together for about 3 months. But then this other guy rented a room out, and that is who I'm currently dating. And basically, I just picked the second guy over Brian because he didn't have kids and he didn't have an ex. And it's real complicating when you're dating someone who's got exes and kids, and, it just makes it kind of stressful. So I was kind of excited about this other guy because he's younger, but, it's nice that he doesn't have exes and he doesn't have kids. And so if you want to pray for me and him, that'd be great. So that's my whole relationship history for any of you that are interested. And if you got daughters, I pray that you just learn something about girls. And you should have all your daughters watch this video so they can learn something from my life and my dating experience. God loves you all. God bless. Have a great day.